Thank you all for joining us. This is now our fourth virtual candidate forum. My name is Daphne Jordan, for those of you that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, and those of you that I have. Most of you know me as a community activist here in South Fulton. I do manage a Facebook page that is called Safer Communities in South Fulton that is now close to 4,000 members. And we discuss a lot of information that pertains to us, whether it's advocacy, crime, education, just ways to keep the community involved and engaged. And so I'm partnered with Demita Chapman. She's with the Citizens for Excellence in Elected Leaders. And Demita and I partnered together. We came together and said, you know, due to COVID, we know that we won't be able to have forums. Why don't we partner and see if we can find benefit in giving information to everyone in the midst of the COVID situation. And so far from the previous forums, we have had over 4,000 viewers who have viewed our recording. So Demita, I'll let you have a few minutes before I introduce our wonderful, awesome, well, I'll back up and introduce our supporter, our biggest supporter, which is the NAACP, and then I'll introduce Donna.
Thank you, Daphne. Again, I want to thank everyone for participating in this town hall forum. Our goal was, just like Daphne said, was to get the information out to the people. And I've been very excited about what we have seen so far. I want to thank Daphne. I mean, when I say the dream team, we sit down and we discuss everything and we don't do nothing. She don't do nothing unless I know about it. So again, it's all about the people and making sure the right people is in office. And again, thank you all for participating. Turn it back over to Daphne.
Okay. And so thank you, Demita. It has, like she said, we coordinate, believe it or not, this has been a very, a great experience for us. We enjoy getting to know elected officials and those that are trying to get elected. That it's very important that as citizens, we elect the right people. And so without further ado, I want to bring in the NAACP. They are very supportive of our forums. They have attended every single one. So tonight we are joined by the NAACP Atlanta Chapter Second Vice President, Karen Renee. Karen, do you want to say a few words before we get started?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Richard Rose, he is out of the office at the time, and he's our president for the Atlanta NAACP branch. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Atlanta NAACP for being such a great partner in the community to put on these forums. One of the best things that we could ever do is to vote. Voting is your best form of protest. It is also an equalizer in the game. And so we want to make sure that each and every person get the opportunity to vote, and that also that our representatives are also representing the communities that they serve. So thank you guys so much. We look forward to this particular forum and to be informed and to also share all of this information with our voters at large.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and send President Rose our regards. All right, so I'll introduce our moderator and then we'll get started. We are fortunate to have such a professional and talented moderator. Her name is Donna Lowry. Donna is a veteran Atlanta journalist who worked for nearly 30 years at 11 Alive and currently hosts the Lawmakers TV show on Georgia Public Broadcasting. Donna, take it away.
I certainly will. Well, thank you so much, Daphne and Demita and Karen Renee. I appreciate this. I'm excited about this. And I have to say, because I'm down at the state capitol all the time, I'm very excited to be able to interact with the lawmakers and the candidates to become lawmakers. It's one of my passions. So let's get started, because I'm really excited about this. Good evening to all of you. Next, I want to begin, I guess, by explaining a little bit of the rules for this forum. We will begin the forum with each candidate giving a 2-minute opening statement. And then after that opening statement, I'll ask each candidate a question set of questions from a predetermined list made up by the people who have organized this event. All candidates will have the chance to answer each question, and you'll have roughly, I think we're gonna do 90 seconds on this, maybe Daphne, a little bit on this because we have so many candidates. At some point, I will open up the forum to questions that you can write in. Those questions will come from the Q&A portion of the Zoom. And if you look at the bottom of your Zoom page, you'll see Q&A. And the participants, we're inviting them to write questions in there. They can ask them of specific candidates, and you're welcome to go ahead and answer those on your own, on your computer, but I will choose some of them to be able to put out there to everybody. If a question is directed at a specific candidate, all candidates will have the opportunity to answer those questions. And then after that specific candidate is finished, I should say. In order to avoid duplication, to assure adherence to the rules, and to determine relevance, I will be going through the questions and determine which ones we can use. And unfortunately, we never get to all of them. So it may be an opportunity for people to get in touch with you afterwards through your websites. And finally, near the end of the program, each candidate will have about 2 minutes for a closing statement. All right, so let's begin where I introduce all the candidates. The candidates in alphabetical order. We'll begin with the candidates in the contested race. And in District 63, we have districts, and I'll say just maybe wave your hand so everybody knows exactly where you are. I know your names are on there, but there are a lot of people in this Zoom. In District 63, State Representative Deborah Bazemore, and then candidate for District 63, David Callahan. In District 65, we have Representative Sharon Beasley Teague, and the candidates Mandisha Thomas and Amber Doss Hunter. In District 55, Representative Marie Metz, and the candidate is Fred Quinn, who unfortunately could not be with us today. He sent his regrets. He said he cannot attend tonight's forum. In a note today, he said he has a personal family issue that appears to be COVID related. It came up this afternoon. Unfortunately, he said, I will not be able to be present for the forum today. And he asked everyone to accept his apology for this unforeseen circumstances. So he will not be able to attend today, but of course, we'll all be thinking of him because of all this COVID related everything that's going on in our lives today. And now for the candidates in the uncontested races, those who are running unopposed. In District 61, State Representative Roger Bruce. In District 62, State Representative William Bodie. And I think his picture is up just right now, so maybe he will see him a little later. And in District 64, State Representative Derek Jackson. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to all of you. Let's get started with each candidate giving a 2-minute opening statement. And I'll go once again in alphabetical order for this. In District 63, let's begin with State Representative Deborah Bazemore, please.
Good evening, and thank you all. Thank you, NAACP, and the moderator and the organizers of this town hall. As it was said, my name is State Representative Deborah Bazemore. And first and foremost, I would like to acknowledge those that have died from and are suffering from this coronavirus. My prayers are with you and your families. I represent District 63, which encompasses a portion of Fulton, Fayette, and Clayton County. I was married for 21 years, and I am a mother of 3 children and Mima to many grandchildren. The reason why I decided to assist with the creation of the city of South Fulton was because of self-determination and assist the constituents of District 63 and travel to Armenia to lend my voice for the same, self-determination. I've served in the Georgia General Assembly for 4 years while sitting on Human Relations and Aging, Intergovernmental Coordination, Natural Resources and Environment, State Planning and Community Affairs. I serve on 4 delegations, Fulton, Fayette, Clayton, and am the chair of the City of South Fulton House Delegation. where my team and I right now are making phone calls to our constituents to make sure they have what they need and that they have the answers, their questions answered. I am the Assistant Deputy Whip. I serve on the exec team of the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus, which is the largest Black caucus in the nation. Thank you for trusting and allowing me to serve you. My plan is to continue to serve you in the Georgia General Assembly, if you so allow. I can be reached by elect at DeborahBazemore63.com, DeborahBazemore63.com, and Facebook, Deborah Jones Bazemore, and it looks as though my time is up.
It is. Thank you very much. We'll allow you to say more as the forum continues. Thank you very much. Now we'll hear from the candidate for District 63, David Callahan. Your 2 minutes.
Thank you. I want to thank the citizens for excellence and elected leaders and the other organizers for hosting this event. It's a Friday evening in the fall of 1966, and I'm the last person to get on the school bus for our marching band's first out-of-town game. It's the first year of desegregation for the band, and the only seat left is next to Sylvester Peoples. Over time, we became good friends and had conversations about race and politics. He would have been offended to be called African American and struggled with what Black pride was supposed to mean. He just wanted what the American promised. On one Friday, Sylvester and his little brother rode with me and 2 of my white buddies to an out-of-town game. We were stopped 3 times that evening by police. Maybe it was mufflers on my car, but maybe it was having 2 Black kids in the car with me. No tickets were issued, but the impression lingers. We had great teachers like George Williams, a World War II bomber pilot turned social studies and history teacher. We learned about our rights coming from God, not men, or from whatever was currently in vogue. That government is established. The government is established to protect these rights. First, the right to life, and then to liberty, and those in our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. Sometimes we've gotten it wrong in our country. When children can be born into slavery instead of into liberty, and when privacy cancels a child's right to life. These are among the reasons that I'm seeking your support or vote. If these values resonate with you, please visit Callahan, the number 4ga.com, and join with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I should point out that I think it's obvious that because of the way we have to do this, that there will be technical issues. Mr. Callahan, your voice did not come across as clear as we would like, but I think everyone heard you. But I think we want to remind the participants that this venue, this Zoom, is a little different, and sometimes the technical part of it can be a little challenging. Next, we're going to District 65, and we'll begin with Representative Sharon Beasley Teague.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone for working together and putting this forum together. It's very important, especially at a time like this when we're dealing with the coronavirus. And many people would like to be able to know what we are going to do for them. I have been in the legislature 28 years, and I'm presently on Ways and Means, Human Relations and Aging, Fish, Games and Parks, Reapportionment, Legislative and Congressional. I have served on Appropriations, Health and Ecology, and other committees. It has been a joy working for the people of the 65th District and getting to know the people of the 65th District. I've been out here in South Fulton for about 50 years. I have one child that went to public school out here, and I work with Lockheed Martin, the retirees part. I recruit the retirees to do legislative work. I'm a legislative coordinator for the International Association of Machinists. I've been a machinist for 37 years. I have worked as CEO of GAP, Georgia Addiction and Parenting Group. We had a home in Atlanta where the ladies were released from jail. They could come and live, take care of their children, and get back into the daily activities of raising their children. And to me, that was important because when you've been away for a while, I just think that you have to be able to make it a natural piece of you. And they were able to do it safely because a lot of them had been battered. That's one of my, I guess you could say, heartthrobs for that period of time.
Thank you, Representative Bazemore. I realize the time has run out for now, but at some point we hope to hear from you more. Is there any way we can see your face a little bit better? We're seeing most.
I don't know. I'm sitting on 2 pillows in this palace chair.
You could adjust the camera at any way. Okay.
It's in the
You have nice eyes.
Green.
You can see them.
Sorry.
Well, thank you.
I do. I can't hear you.
So you need to unmute.
I accidentally muted myself. So sometimes the look of everything and sometimes the sound will be a challenge. So now we're going to go to District 55. As I mentioned earlier, candidate Fred Quinn was unable to make it for personal reasons, but we do have Representative Marie Metz. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to give a shout out to the Citizens for Excellence in Elected Leaders. It's supported by the Atlanta chapter of the NAACP, where I served as the first vice president for almost 4 years. I have been receiving emails, text messages, and most of them coming from South Fulton. So I'd like to take this opportunity to share my web page address with the listeners: www.mariemetz.com. And on my official web page, you would be able to find out a lot about Marie Metz. As one of the constituents said, Representative Metz, I don't understand. Why don't you have your bio on the official Georgia website? I said, well, we'll do that in due time. So at any rate, www.mariemetz.com. And my opening speech will be, I'll cut it down to maybe 1 minute. I'll try to. Okay, someone just reminded me that I didn't give you any information about my record of service in the community. That's on my web page. But I am an active member of Big Bethel AME Church here in Atlanta. And I have been married to my husband, Walter, for over 45 years.
That is wonderful. And I hate to cut you off, but we're giving everybody 2 minutes, and your 2 minutes are over now. But if with any luck, you'll be able to talk throughout this forum and get some of the things out that you want to say.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So that's District 65. Next, we have our unopposed candidates who are in uncontested races, and we're thrilled that they're with us today. Beginning with District 61, 2 minutes from State Representative Roger Bruce.
Hi there. You've just changed one of my objectives, which is to make sure that we get your show funded properly. So that's going to be on the agenda when we go back. But I am State Representative Roger Bruce. I represent District 61, which is South Fulton County, Douglas County, Cobb County. and I serve as the chair of the Douglas County delegation. I serve on the Game Fish and Parks Committee, Judiciary Committee, Human Relations and Aging, Small Business Development, and Appropriations. They got me on 5 committees, so I work pretty hard down there. But the legislation that I most recently dealt with was to create the city of South Fulton. And you know, I felt that people should have the opportunity to decide what it is that they want and how they want to be governed. Work very hard and very tirelessly to give them the opportunity to go out and vote. And they overwhelmingly voted to become the newest, one of the newest cities in the state. And actually, I think the 3rd largest city in the state. So I know we're going to be talking about other things as we go forward. I don't want to use up all of my time. I've used up all of my time, but we'll talk some more later. Take care.
Thank you very much. I am an apology. I did not finish District 65 and the 2 candidates in that district, and I will now give them time. I should have done that right after Representative Beasley Teague. So now for 2 minutes, candidate for District 65, Mandisha Thomas.
So does that mean I get to go again?
No, it doesn't, sir. It's a good try, though. Good try.
Greetings. I'm Mandisha Thomas, running for state representative of District 65. District 65 encompasses 6 cities and 2 counties. That's South Fulton and Douglasville. I am a 15-year resident of South Fulton County, and the last 3 years have been in the new city of South Fulton. Happy birthday, city of South Fulton, as of May 1st. I am running on environmental justice and injustices in our community, which is our water and air pollution, food deserts, food securities, POGs, protect our green space, quality healthcare, which is quality healthcare itself, quality providers, and quality facilities. If within the last 3 weeks, you may have received this 8-page candidate profile book. It is depicting all the work that I've been doing over the last 3 to 8 years right here in District 65. So if you didn't receive one of these, I would like to get you one personally. My direct line is 678-310-9380. I am taking calls from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day until June 9th. If you want to reach me by Facebook, you can do that at Thomas for 65. My website is mandishathomas.com. You can email me at electmandishathomas.com. And I hope to see you at the polls voting for Mandisha Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now another candidate for District 65, Amber Doss Hunter. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, I am Amber Doss Hunter, and I am a candidate for state representative in District 65. I moved to Georgia in 2005, and my family have been residents of South Fulton since for the last 12 years. For 13 years, I have had a career in Georgia's film and television industry and been a member of Local Union 479. I enrolled in Clark Atlanta University and studied political science. I have been a community activist. I raise funds for single mothers experiencing homelessness and youth experiencing homelessness, providing access for those individuals to attain shelter, clothing, and a warm meal. I decided to run for state representative because it is time we change how we handle healthcare. I personally know what it is like to be unable to afford health insurance, and a family of 4 should not be denied Medicaid simply because their annual household income is $30,000 before taxes. District 65 deserves a bold activist leader for those of voting age and for those who are not of voting age. I will be a leader focused on expanding the access to quality healthcare and equipping our schools for the future leaders of our community. With an emphasis on investing in education, in times such as these, high unemployment rates, high uninsured rates, we should be proactive so that we hurt less. If we are proactive, we can hurt less in times such as these. I will be a leader that builds bridges across District 65 and across district lines in other communities. I will be accessible, proactive, and responsive to the needs of everyone in the district, and also be responsive, proactive, and accessible while creating equitable policies. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now that you've had the 2-minute opening statements, we'll go to questions that were pre-prepared. And we are going to
You didn't do 64.
Oh, I'm sorry. I call it quarantine brain that I'm going through these days. So I apologize. I do know that, that our State Representative Derek Jackson is available, and you will have your 2 minutes right now, sir.
Thank you, Donna. And I don't want to forget about my whip neither. He's present. But nonetheless, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Jackson, and it is an honor to serve and to represent District 64, which consists of South Fulton and Fayette County, 7 cities. First, my heart also goes out to those of us directly and indirectly impacted by the coronavirus. This is a pandemic that we just never witnessed before. And I know most of us are still sheltering in place, and rightfully so, because the number of cases and deaths in Georgia continue to increase. And it's a responsibility for those of us who are already elected at the state government must ensure the safety of Georgians. That's part of the oath that we all took, and I take that oath very seriously. It's a responsibility when you seek office and you're holding office. I sit on 3 committees in the Democratic Caucus, and I sit on 5 committees in the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus. I'm also the vice chair for the Fulton County delegation and the vice chair for the Fayette County delegation, and I'm also assistant deputy whip. And one of the things I want to say before my time expires, I want to say to the dream team, Ms. Chapman, Ms. Jordan, and Ms. Lowry, thank you for putting this forum on together, because I'm real big that the constituents out there must know who they're voting for, what they stand for, because right now we need leadership, and leadership matters. I look forward to participating in tonight's forum.
All right, thank you very much. And last, but certainly not least, Minority Whip in the House, State Representative William Bodie.
Mr. Bodie.
You have to unmute.
Yes, thank you all. And thank you to the Dream Team for putting this together tonight, and the series of virtual town halls for candidates has just been phenomenal. But my name is State Representative William Bodie. I represent House District 62, which covers portions of the South Fulton region, as well as portions of Douglas County. I represent 6 cities within House District 62. I'm from Atlanta, born and raised, grew up in South Fulton, and I'm definitely happy to be representing the constituency of House District 62. I am on several committees in the Georgia House. I am on rules. I am on small business development. I am on ethics. I'm also on budget and governmental affairs. I'm pretty busy on committees. I also am an active member, as well as the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus. Before I was appointed by my colleagues in the Georgia House Democratic Caucus to whip, Minority Whip, I was the communications chair for the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus. So I have enjoyed my roles. I appreciate my colleagues putting me in a leadership position. Also enjoy working very hard on behalf of our citizens here in South Fulton and in Douglas County. I serve currently as vice chair of the Coalition of South Fulton Regional Elected Officials. We have been deemed with trying to address the COVID-19 pandemic here in South Fulton. So I'm really excited about being on that committee, as well as working with numerous friends on this Zoom and colleagues over the years since 2016 when I was first elected. So thank you all for having me tonight.
Thank you very much. All right, now we can get to some of the questions and find out a little bit more about each one of the candidates. I am keeping track on the time here, and because of the number of candidates and the number of questions, we'll try to keep it to a minute with each question. The first question is, what issue are you passionate about and will focus on becoming a thought leader if elected or if continue to serve in the Georgia General Assembly? And I want to start off with, in District 63, David Callahan.
Yes, thank you. My primary issue and concern is life. We have failed to recognize where life comes from. It is a gift of God, and our founding documents recognize where life and liberty come from. So that is my primary concern. The abortion issue and the Roe versus Wade decision by the courts, I believe, was a completely fabricated decision, first of all, but the effect that it has had, particularly on the Black family, has been devastating over the years. It has really turned not just Black men, but a lot of men in America into non-participants in fatherhood. And we've seen throughout our society the breakdown that has caused. So I think first and foremost is protecting life. And when we devalue life, we value life at every level. So that is my passion and concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's time on that. Next, for that same question, in District 63, State Representative Deborah Bazemore.
So thank you for that question. I believe the availability of resources is imperative for our constituents. They need to not only have, but they need to be accessible to our constituents, because we are told on a regular basis, well, we have this, we have that, but it's not easily accessible. So making sure that they are able to have those resources, and also to build up the different areas, especially here in the city of South Fulton. We have a gym right now, and what we need to do is invite those businesses and entities that will benefit our community and our constituents. And that's in each district, each area that I represent.
All right, thank you very much. Now in District 65, the three candidates, and we're going to start with Mandisha Thomas on what issues are you passionate about?
Well, yes, I did mention those earlier in the opening, but one issue that I'm certainly going to be working on is ending food deserts in our communities. Our current governor, Brian Kemp, one of his 4 points that he ran on was support farmers and businesses in agriculture and startup businesses. So I'm going to be putting him to the test with that and helping end food deserts and food insecurities. I plan to work with Environmental and Natural Resource Committee as well as the Agriculture Committee to do this. The federal government has deemed 3 spots in District 65 as food deserts, and we're going to eradicate that.
All right, thank you very much. Next, Amber Doss Hunter. You have 1 minute.
I am passionate about education, and if I am elected state representative, that will be my focus. If we focus on education, education ends the cycle of poverty. From my perspective, boldly funding education is equipping our schools with the technology advances that prepares our students for the technology of tomorrow. Progressively funding things like math and science and coding to activate that scientist in our kids, to activate that engineer in our children. We need that, and we should be proactive in education, and we should be boldly funding education for our students, because we are setting this community up for them in the future.
All right, thank you very much. Representative Sharon Beasley Teague.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that question. I'm working diligently with the farmers out here in South Fulton, with the Secretary of Agriculture, because there's various things that they want to do out here. And Robert Chappelle and Denise Ham, they have those gardens and they're teaching people how to garden and whatnot. So I know at given time, the food deserts will change in the district, and I see things happening now. I've cooked collard greens tonight that were quite fresh out of one of their gardens. And I've known Robert Chappelle for over 34 years. So it's been quite easily for me and other people that we know to get fresh vegetables. Also, the realities of our budget as far as the state is concerned. I will be the one to vote no when they don't give enough money for our mental health, don't give enough money for my church is doing food right now, serving people on Thursday. They've served as many as 1,000 people.
Thank you very much.
Sure they can continue that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, District 55, Representative Marie Metz.
Thank you for that question. Thank you very much for that question. I am passionate about economic development. My acceptance speech in 2015, economic development. And go to my website, and I have talk about the Metz Economic and Education Action Plan. It's spelled out on my website. Secure new good paying jobs, attract and maintain employers, improve transportation and transit, attract and expand new investment, create educational partnerships, reduce economic disparities. I could go on and on and on. As a matter of fact, I authored House Bill 329. It passed the House and the Senate. This is to authorize the city of South Fulton to exercise all redevelopment and other powers under the redevelopment powers.
Thank you very much.
Talk more about that later.
All righty, I hope we get that in. All right, let's go to State Representative Roger Bruce. What are you passionate about?
Right now, I'm focused on voting to make sure that our elections are done properly, to make it easier for people to vote. I have a bill that's pending right now that would allow people.
Did we lose him?
Any precinct within their district, instead of having to go to a particular place to vote, they'd be able to go and vote anywhere within their county. And then secondly, I'm working on legislation, which I have a bill pending right now also, that would make it easier for minority companies to be able to get state contracts. Right now, less than 3% of state money goes to small business, to African-American businesses. And I want to change that so that we get an equal share of that state money.
All right, thank you very much. Representative William Bodie.
Yes, I'm very passionate about criminal justice reform. It is something near and dear to my heart. I am a criminal defense lawyer by trade, and also I handle personal injury cases. But I serve on House Judiciary Non-Civil, and we have a lot of bills that come through our committee that deal with the criminal code, the OCGA. And I have sponsored bills. I sponsored the Second Chance Act, which is a bill that would allow individuals who were to receive a felony or misdemeanor at a very young age, between the ages of 17 and 25, to have their records restricted if they were to commit another offense later on in life. And if the judge deemed that it was in the best interest of justice to allow this individual to have another chance. And that's when the individual actually had a prior offense for which they used first offender or conditional discharge. Also, I'm
Thank you, Representative Bodie. I know you're passionate about that. We've talked about this. All right, we'll get to say a little bit more later. Representative Derek Jackson.
Thank you, Ms. Lowry. I'm passionate around making sure no one's left behind. I'm a retired naval officer, And as a military vet, we should not leave not one Georgian behind. And so when you think about education, we got to make sure that our budget reflects our values and that those children have the opportunity to get the best education possible. I'm focusing on healthcare, specifically during this pandemic. You clearly see why we need to make sure that everyone get the necessary healthcare, just like I did in the military. Your best combat weapon is a human being, and we always made sure that individuals were healthy. And then last but not least, along with my good friend, criminal justice reform, you clearly see when incidents like Ahmaud Arbery take place, broad daylight, someone 25 years of age, jogging in their neighborhood, and they're killed, and 2 months later, no one is arrested. That's pathetic. So that's where I'm passionate around.
All right, thank you very much. The next question, what action will you take to grow jobs? And I'm going to start in the middle a little bit in District 55 with Representative Marie Metz.
Again, I have it all laid out, the plan. I call it the roadmap. It's on my website, and I have so much to talk about and only have, what, 1 minute. But I want to mention that I serve on 4 House committees: economic development, higher education, special rules, and interstate cooperation. And I also have a bill, actually it's a resolution that's pending, and I think it's going to move out of the higher education committee at some point. And it deals with our historically Black institutions. I spent my life working at historically Black colleges. And that's another issue that I am very passionate about. And hopefully, if it moves out, there will be a study committee. And what I plan to do is to go around the entire state of Georgia, because someone told me, said, I didn't realize there were over 100 historically Black institutions. I said, yes, it is. So we've got a story to tell, Sister Beasley, and I want you to be in that band with me.
Thank you very much. I decided to go ahead and give you 90 seconds, so everybody will get 90 seconds for this question. Let's go to District 65, and let's begin with Amber Doss Hunter. Your answer to what action will you take to grow jobs?
Yes, my action to grow jobs is expanding Medicaid. If we expand Medicaid, we can create jobs. If we expand Medicaid, more people will have access to health care and the mental care that they need, which creates jobs in our community. It creates hospitals and also primary care. So expanding Medicaid is where I stand with being able to create jobs, and also people will be able to get the health care and the mental care that they need to sustain.
All right, thank you very much. Representative Sharon Beasley Teague.
Yes, ma'am, thank you for that question. I would like to see the budget to give us enough money to be able to do what is needed for education. My daughter went to public school. I went to public school. I didn't go to private school until I was grown. To make sure that the teachers have what they need. I've worked all these years with trying to make sure the children had what they need. It's so important that we have it in the budget and that 91 people come together and agree with that. So I'm looking forward to, well, this budget's gonna be cut 14% more. So we're gonna see what we can come up with, because we just gave teachers the amount of money they needed for education. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Candidate Mandisha Thomas. Are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay. We can create more job support to our counties in obtaining more funding from the federal level for grants to train our residents in agriculture. Because District 65 has so much undeveloped land, it is an industry that we can tap into. So I would be willing to work with the county and the 6 cities in building training in agriculture for our residents.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to District 63 and Representative Deborah Bazemore on growing jobs.
Thank you for that question. So currently I am in communication with an investor, willing to invest in this area. And that's what I hit on earlier, that we need to make sure we expand what we do have. As it has been said already, we have the land, we have the opportunity. Unfortunately, this COVID-19 disease has stagnated a lot of what our plans have been, but we need to take advantage of what we have right now, and we need to be able to expand those areas of land and bring in those businesses so that when this is over, people will have jobs and will be able to sustain themselves.
All right, thank you very much. David Callahan.
Yes, thank you for the question. Of course, the best job creator in recent history is our President Donald Trump. And his understanding of capitalism and how capitalism works is really the answer. Now, when we look at South Fulton and parts of the 63rd district here, the things that are a problem for as far as attracting business are 1, crime, and 2, the poor schools that we have in South Fulton within House District 63. We need some education options outside of the public school system. They need to be funded through charter schools and other programs. We need our police department to get serious about petty crime and not wait until crime becomes major and becomes felonious. So if we look at those things, that's an important start. What government needs to do is provide a slate, basically, for capitalism to invest, not to use what is the typical progressive approach to economic development, which is essentially take taxpayer dollars and then try to entice somebody to come in and start and put a business into the district. If you reduce regulation, and one of the things that's desperately needed here in South Fulton is a land use plan that has not been developed yet.
Much. That is time on that. Maybe you'll get a chance to say some more later. Let's go to Representative William Bodie.
Yes, I believe you start by creating businesses, by creating more small business owners and more jobs by creating more small business owners. Since 2018, I have hosted a small business summit for House District 62 in conjunction and partnership with the SBA of Georgia. And we were able to supply resources and knowledge on how to be a small business owner and how to create new jobs. And I think that's very important. So I believe by education and by having the resources to create more small business owners, we will create more small business owners and more jobs for our community. So I think that's imperative that we need to do.
All right. You have 30 seconds if you wanted to say more. No?
No, I'm fine. I yield my time, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much. I always wanted somebody to say that to me. All right. Representative Derek Jackson.
Thank you, Ms. Lowry. I appreciate the question. You know, every job industry starts off with the fundamentals of the foundation, and that is the workforce. If you grow and equip the workforce with the proper education, you would then grow any job industry. I don't care what job industry it is. And so you think about investing in STEM, think about investing in new curriculum. The way we were all taught 30, 40 years ago is very different than today. And so we have to invest in new curriculum so that way we can start growing entrepreneurs and small businesses. And so we got to really get outside of the paradigm of thinking about how do you grow jobs simply just by adding more resources. You got to start from the bottom up, and that's going to also help reduce crime, right? If you teach someone how to fish, they will know how to fish for themselves. If you just continue to give them a fish, then you would just becoming an enabler. And so that's what we need to do. Think about this from the bottom up, because we just watched this administration spend $4 trillion and it's not working.
All right, thank you very much. Representative Bruce.
Yeah, I want to kind of twist your question just a little bit. The reality, I've always pushed for people to own their own businesses. We want to create new jobs when we can, but I want to focus, and that's what I do. I focus on putting more people in business. And with the things that are happening right now, the opportunity to create new businesses is bigger than ever. If I said to you 20 years ago, let's go buy a computer, more than likely we would have bought it from IBM. If I said to you 20 years ago, let's watch a movie at home, we'd have gone to Blockbuster and got a movie. Neither one of those companies, they exist, but they really don't. Nobody uses them anymore. But with all the things that are going on right now, we have opportunities to create new businesses, and we need to be focused on getting minorities into these businesses. And that's what I really want to do. That's what I'm working on.
All right, thank you very much. On to a new question. And this one is, do you support workers' rights? And if you have the opportunity to cast a vote to repeal Georgia's right to work law, how would you vote and why? And let's start in District 65 with Mandisha Thomas.
Yes, I do support workers' rights. And if I had the opportunity to cast a vote for that, I would say yes. I believe that we should have the rights that are afforded to us in this state. And I'm going to stand on.
All right. Okay, thank you. We had a little problem with your audio, but I think you finished up there. All right. Amber Doss Hunter. Are you still speaking? I'm sorry. Okay. I apologize. Given this forum, the way things are, I'm not sure whether your audio was good or not. So if there was a problem, just let me know. Amber Doss Hunter, your answer to the question in terms of workers' rights and the voting for the Georgia's right to work law.
Yes, I do support workers' rights. I am in a union. I am in local union 479, and they secure payment, insurance. So of course, yes, I definitely support workers' rights. It helps workers and increase fairness in the workplace is what I'm trying to say. So yes, I support workers' rights.
All right, thank you very much. Representative Sharon Beasley Teague.
Thank you for the question. I do support workers' rights. I'm a machinist. I build airplanes at Lockheed Martin, and we would negotiate contracts, and we'd get some of the best contracts because we were able to negotiate wages, health insurance, vacation, and all those things that workers need. I adopted while I was out there, young lady, and I needed to take time off. Well, because I had a contract, I was able to do that. I became a state legislator, started serving in '93, and I was able to do that and still keep my job. So I know what workers' rights mean because I'm an example of that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. In District 63, State Representative Deborah Bazemore.
Thank you for the question. I definitely do agree that workers should have rights. I am from New York originally, and all my life, my working life, I have been in a union. Unions help, support, and provide necessary resources, such as it was said, fair wages, comparable wages, contracts. They allow grievances. When you have, I was unfamiliar with this right to and it was quite concerning to me. So I think that every person that wants to work should be able to work under good conditions and have a way to express if there's a concern and exactly have what the competition in wages would be.
All right.
Not right now.
All right. Thank you very much. David Callahan.
Yes, thank you for the question. I have been in unions before, and I have supervised people who were in a union environment. I have somewhat mixed feelings. I would not vote to rescind the right to work, but at the same time, I believe in people's rights to organize. I think in South Fulton, if the warehouses were organized, it probably would be beneficial to our community. But there are times where part of what I ran into was work rules, where some people would just not cross over from one work description to another. And it was different in different shops. In some shops, people were willing to make the crossover and help out if needed, when a task needed to be done. In other shops, there were people who just absolutely would refuse, even though there was no work for them to do. So I have somewhat mixed feelings. Again, I would not vote to rescind right to work.
All right, thank you very much. Representative Marie Metz.
Yes, I support workers' rights. I think that was the first part of the question. And I believe the second part is, how would I vote? I'd like to actually see the language, read it, and understand it, and then make a decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Derek Jackson.
Yes, I will vote for workers' rights because it's part of our democracy. Everyone should have and work in an environment of fairness and equality. And so, although there's no particular language in front of us, but in the macro sense, workers should be and have rights in the place of employment.
Representative William Bodie.
Yes, I would also vote yes to workers' rights. I absolutely believe in it. I've sponsored legislation in regards to workers' right with expecting mothers in the workplace. And I just think it's essential. In my day job, I've also represented union members. My father was a union member, my uncles was a union member, and I believe in the values of unions. So I would most definitely vote yes to a workers' right bill. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Representative Roger Bruce.
Yes, absolutely. I can't imagine that any company would not want to give their employees an opportunity to be the best employee they could possibly be. And that they would want us to support legislation that made it better for their employees as well. So that's a no-brainer.
All right, thank you very much. I'm gonna ask one more question. It's a question from one of our participants, and I'm gonna combine it with something else from the list of questions for today. And that has to do with what we're dealing with right now with COVID, the COVID-19 pandemic. So the question from Sojourner Grimmett is, what have you done to support citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic? But I'll also add, how should the state mitigate the post-pandemic world, given that the legislature is expected to go back in just a few weeks? And I'm going to start with the representatives who are unopposed, and I'm going to begin with you, Representative Bodie.
Yes, Thank you for that question. Currently, I serve on the special committee that was selected by the House Speaker to come up with the protocols for us to come back to the state capitol. We have talked about a number of issues, and we're going to continue to talk about a number of issues, what's going to be done going forward with this new COVID-19 world that we live in. Some of the things I've done in South Fulton, again, I've co-chaired, I'm the co-chair of the Coalition for Regional South Fulton elected officials. And we're trying to bring awareness to staying at home and shelter in place beyond the expiration of the governor's shelter in place order last week. And also, I'm a part of another coalition as well that we were being interviewed today. We're working on trying to meet with the governor, and that's the Coalition to Save Lives, the Georgia Coalition to Save Lives. So I think awareness is very important, and also getting out amongst the community as well. But also when we get back to the General Assembly legislation and putting money in the budget to deal with this pandemic is going to be something we're going to have to address sometime down the line.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm giving each one of you 90 seconds on this. Representative Bruce?
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure exactly the direction of the question, but the reality is that we have not been in session, so we can't do anything legislatively. But myself and others, you know, we've been doing things voluntarily to help with this crisis. You know, I've been working with people, giving them food, giving them water. We've been providing enormous amounts of information to people about what's going on and how to get treatment, how to get help if you need it. So again, I'm not sure exactly, you know, the essence of the question, but we're all volunteering in a lot of different ways to help out during this epidemic.
Okay, so to be clear on the question was, what have you done to support citizens during this COVID-19 pandemic? And also, how should the state mitigate the post-pandemic world that we'll face? So I will move on to Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Ms. Lowry, for the question. And myself and Representative Beth Moore and Representative Camilla Hobson, we raised over $12,000 for PPE equipment down in Albany. Albany was it still is one of our hot spots. South Fulton is a hot spot. And as some of my colleagues already mentioned, we've been giving out food in various locations. One of the churches right in District 64 continue to give out food. And then, but more importantly, I think all in all is building awareness, keeping our constituents informed, having town hall forums such as this with epidemiologists, and just giving them the information and addressing their questions. Because you got concerned citizens out there like Mr. Reginald Tatum that asking questions, hey, what can we do during a time like this and sheltering in place? And so the more we do and keeping them informed and aware and answer their questions beyond the executive orders from the governor is the right thing to do right now dealing with this pandemic.
All right, thank you very much. Representative Marie Metz.
Yes, under the leadership of our Bishop, Reginald Jackson, in the AME Church here in the state of Georgia, we have done quite a bit, very quietly, moving around the state of Georgia. And thanks to our Bishop, Reginald Jackson, for leading the way.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to Representative Sharon Beasley Teague. You may be muted. Okay, so you'll have to unmute.
Thank you for the question.
There you go.
In the district and out of the district, anybody that calls and they know I did it before COVID-19. So I continue whatever services they need. I take people food. I have some citizens that are I call vulnerable citizens, which is what they have on the CDC chart. And so I make sure that they don't have to go out and get nothing unless they have to. I would deliver water, food, and whatnot. And my church, Temple of Prayer, United Church of God in Christ, that we have activities on Thursdays. And we're able to deliver In Douglas County, we're able to do various things. So I just think that as much as I can, I try to keep people at home, especially the seniors, and let the young people also help and do their part, because it's important that we come together, because we're all in this together, and we can't do this by ourselves. There's no way. And so it's like with the fresh vegetables, we share vegetables, eggs, we do all of that so that we can try to make this where we don't have to go out.
All right, thank you very much. Candidate Amber Doss Hunter.
Yes, so I've been offering emotional support to my family, friends, anyone who called, because we know mental support and mental health is very important in these times. On Monday, I will be hosting a town hall with my therapist, and we will be discussing how to stay mentally sound in these times and being able to focus. Also expanding my help. I do have a senior grandmother in Little Rock, and I have her groceries delivered to her. So that's what I've been doing. And my family in South Fulton, if I'm going to the grocery store, I'll call them, see what they need, and I'll pick the things up for them, whatever they need. So that's how I've been helping, and that's how I have been proactive during this time.
All right, thank you very much. Mandisha Thomas.
Yes, you mitigate a pandemic through increasing quality healthcare and expanding the quality or healthcare options. What I've been doing personally through my nonprofit, Golden Gate Healthcare Resources, is working with the farmers for the last 3 years on ending food deserts and food insecurities in our community right here in District 65. And in wake of COVID, we all know that there is a meat shortage. And if meat is going to be available, it may be sky high, whereas you may purchase a pack of pork chops for $35. The World Food Program Director has already said if we don't do something immediately, globally, we will experience a food famine like never seen before. So as a result, what I've done through my nonprofit is given away 250 garden grow boxes through the Georgia Free Grow Box giveaway. We did that on May 1st to 250 residents in South Fulton County. I want them to be, we don't have an opportunity to have food.
All right, thank you very much. District 63, David Callahan.
Thank you for the question. I want to start with the second part first, in terms of how do we get back to some level of normalcy. The virus is going to be around for a long time, and how it repeats itself seasonally, we don't know the answers to a lot of this. We do know that we have to get back into productivity. We've got to be able to get food delivered. People, I need a haircut real desperately, but I'm putting it off as long as I can. But we've got to be able to protect the elderly. We particularly have to protect people in the nursing homes. And we've really got to look structurally, I think, at some of the nursing homes to see if they really are up to par in protecting people when you have a virus like this in going on. As far as what I'm doing personally, I'm trying to stay, practice social distancing. And my son, who's has been deployed with the Army to work with the Corps of Engineers to develop temporary hospitals throughout the country. I'm taking care of his dog while he's away. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Representative Deborah Bazemore.
Yes, thank you for that question. Having a conversation earlier about this, I believe what we need to do to mitigate the impact of this pandemic, we have to look at those individuals that are in hardship. We know that there has been a hold on any evictions, but when this pandemic is over, what is going to happen to those individuals. So as a collective body, we have been brainstorming and would like to see that that money that is owed is waived, because that is going to cause an additional hardship on individuals and create a great loss in the state of Georgia. And what have I been doing? I touched on it earlier. My team and I are calling my constituents to find out how they're doing, what they need, and to answer any questions and to direct them to the resources that they might need. And also, I am preparing to purchase some masks for the individuals in my district, so that they will have what they need. I think it's very important that all individuals have PPE to protect themselves and to protect others, so that this spread would slow down and eventually stop.
All right, thank you very much. We're running a little bit late, but we're going to give you 90 seconds each for your closing statements. And I'm going to begin with Representative Marie Metz in District 55.
Thank you. I started out by saying it's time for smarter growth. And I mentioned that we need to reduce economic disparities. Our state's prosperity cannot and should not leave any of our residents behind. Gentrification, yes, gentrification is real, and we must put an end to economic disparity. We will find a way, or make one, to ensure that residents in transitional neighborhoods are not forced out as neighborhoods redevelop and grow and property values increase. As we work together as one body in equal quality health and living, our entire state of Georgia will thrive and prosper. Again, thanks for inviting me, and visit my website, mariemetz.com. Visit my email, electmariemetz@gmail.com.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to District 63, and let's start with David Callahan. You'll have to unmute yourself, sir.
Sorry. I want to thank everybody for being involved in this and organizing this and putting it together. I want to just let folks know my website again, www.callahan, CALLAHAN, 4ga.com. I'd like your support if you agree with my values. I understand that many folks on this panel would disagree, but I think over and over we've proven that capitalism is the only way that wealth is generated. Progressivism is just a great way to share poverty, and so I think that it's time that we rejected that platform for trying to get to some level of security. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. In District 63, Representative Deborah Bazemore.
Thank you. I believe that my work and my dedication speaks for itself. I believe that being on the ground for 10 years in the community, being a community activist, assisting in several different issues, I believe experience is essential. Relationships are imperative. I have relationships across the aisle, both sides of the aisle. And as I said earlier, I believe that you all know who I am, have seen me in action, and I trust that you all will allow me to go back to the Georgia General Assembly for another 2 years to represent you. I want to be your voice. And just to know that we as colleagues have been forced, some of us, to share information, and we have become one voice for all of Georgia and all of the districts. And while I'm saying that, I just got a text message that the individuals that shot the young Black man, they have been arrested.
All right, thank you very much. That was 90 seconds. Thank you that very much. So we just had District 63, now to District 64, Representative Derrick Jackson.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend this forum. I think it's very, very important for a forum such as this to learn about those who are seeking office, but more importantly, what they stand for. Leadership matters. Experience matters. And this coronavirus pandemic clearly shows that leadership matters. Your vote matters. And as the recent announcement, as my colleague just mentioned, when a Georgian is jogging simply in their neighborhood and individuals not arrested for a couple of months, that's a problem. So get out to vote, and we look forward to seeing you very soon when it's safe. But until then, please, ma'am, please, sir, stay at home and stay safe.
All right, thank you very much. Representative Roger Bruce.
Yeah, thank you again, everyone, for the work that you did to put this together. I can't say it any better than my colleague Derrick just said. It matters. You know, what's happening across this country in large part is due to the lack of leadership coming out of Washington, D.C. And we have absolutely got to make sure that everybody goes to the polls and votes. We have to make sure that people get counted in this census so that they get the money in their communities that they need to do the things that they need to do. I've been in office now since 2002, and I've seen a lot happen. Anything like this virus that we're dealing with now. We're going to have to be sure that we do things to create an environment where our children and grandchildren have some place that they'll be able to call home in this country that we now call America. I want to make sure that I leave this forum with everybody knowing that I'm absolutely hoping that they will make sure that they go to the polls and vote.
All right, thank you very much. Representative William Bodie.
Yeah, thank you so much, Donna, for this platform and being the moderator tonight, and to Ms. Chapman and to Ms. Jordan as well. My colleagues have just said it. I mean, it couldn't be said any clearer. Voting matters. Voting is important. Voting is critical at this time. We're at a place in our country that I know in my lifetime I have not seen before. We have the opportunity to correct some things as far as our leadership on the federal level, the state level as well. And we have to do that in June and in November this year. So I stand with my colleagues and what they stated earlier. I want to thank the citizens of House District 62 for electing me in 2016 and again in 2018. And I stand on what I've always stand on, leadership and leading by example and just doing the work. I think that's most important. Our community needs it. Our community demands it. And I'm here just like everyone on this phone call. I'm not on this phone call, but on this Zoom to step up to be the leader that our community demands and needs. Thank you.
Right, I'm sorry, thank you. Representative Sharon Beasley Teague and District 65.
Yes, ma'am. I want to thank you all for the opportunity. That just kind of took me back when she gave me that told us that the young men had been arrested. We was on conferences all day to day, and last night it kind of got me because I've been here since the missing and murdered children, and I used to walk those streets go looking for the children. So it's really taken me back, and we got to keep people safe. Just because we're Black don't mean you're supposed to shoot us down. But thank you for giving me that information. And I do want to thank everybody again in District 65, it will be what we all work together and make it be. And we have all been working, trying to make it through just from day to day to make sure our people are safe, are fed, they're able to go to jobs. And if they go to a job, I let them know they have rights, even going back now. Because CDC says certain things you just can't do if you have certain conditions. Be blessed. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Amber Doss Hunter.
Yes, I want to thank the organizers for creating this platform and allowing us to present our platforms and what we stand on. I want to thank everyone who supports my campaign and thank everyone who joined this live broadcast. It would be an honor for me to be in service in District 65. I am passionate about being your partner, your voice, and your vote on the House floor. I will be an advocate for economic growth, investing in education and quality health care. So my name is Amber Doss Hunter. I would greatly appreciate your vote as state representative in District 65. And also Representative Metz, thank you for quoting Clark Atlanta's motto, we find a way or make one. And you are absolutely right. And this platform shows us that state and local politics is very, very important. So thank you all for watching the live broadcast. I'm Amber Doss Hunter.
Thank you. Mandisha Thomas.
Yes, thank you for all the participants and for the two community leaders, and particularly Daphne Jordan and Demita Chapman for putting this on. It shows exemplary leadership in South Fulton. Earlier, I talked about my platform and what I'm running on. And those points are certainly valid in District 65 and in the state of Georgia, period. But in wake of COVID, I must say the last 2 weeks, I've been getting a strong urge, a strong push to change the plan that I had for my first 2 years. So like I said, I'm going to keep being an advocate for the things that I'm running on, but I feel an urge to put emphasis on mental health, jobs and training, and workforce development. And when I say workforce development, in particularly youth workforce development, I don't want our 17, 18, 19-year-olds to be stuck in a position of coming up as a new productive citizen in wake of this pandemic. I'm still going to be fighting food deserts and food insecurities. When I think about our youth, I know that they're going to be expected to compete on a national and global level, but I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do that if they're not getting the proper nutrition to their brains to even think on a national and global level. So with my leadership, I plan on ending food deserts and food insecurities in South Fulton.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all of the candidates. Thank you for hanging in there a little longer. We kind of held you hostage, so you really didn't have a choice of staying a little bit longer on this. But I appreciate you being a part of this forum. And now I'll turn it back over to Daphne Jordan.
Thank you, Donna, and thank you for always doing an amazing job. We have now conquered our 4th virtual forum. And I'm quite honored and proud to be able to do this along with my partner, Demita Chapman. And I want to say this, I am born and raised right here in this state, grew up in Atlanta. My grandmother is in Adel, Georgia, Sparks, Georgia. So for me, I'm very passionate about my voice and using it in such a way to empower not only myself, but others. And so this forum for us has been all about sharing with the public so that they can make a good, conscious, educated, informed choice on candidates, because clearly, if you look at where we are today as it stands, not only with the COVID pandemic, we truly are in need of good leaders. And I'm not saying that in regards to any of you, I'm saying our current leadership from the president level to the current governor, they have given us an image of why we need to turn out at these polls and make sure we're putting the right people in leadership that have all of us in our best interest. And so with that being said, I do want to say that if you all do go back into office, it is my prayer that I see a hate crime bill come to the table.
Right on.
Light of what is happening with Mr. Ahmaud, to make sure that I have 3 young black males that we're raising. I don't want them to have to experience it. So at the sacrifice of this young man, that is what I'm hoping we can come to grips with in our state to be equitable and fair. Also, with that being said, I want to thank each of you for lending the time to participate today. As I said, this is our last forum, and I must say I'm literally exhausted, but I'm also phenomenally excited. This is a lot of work, believe it or not, and I hope that you all feel as passionate and as excited as we do. I'll turn it over to Demita, then we'll allow the NAACP to have final words. And again, everyone, please, please, please show up to the polls, cast your votes, and make your voices be heard. Demita?
Again, I want to thank everyone that came out tonight to participate in this forum. I want to thank Daphne, the NAACP. You just don't know how it made me feel to be a part of this, and just to make sure we get the right people in office. I'm not a native of Atlanta. As they say, I'm a transplant, but I've been working ever since we came down here in 2005. And this is something that I just didn't wake up and start doing in 2005. Anybody from my hometown will tell you, even as a little girl, I did just what I'm doing now. And what the important things about this is to get out the vote. We need the right people in office. We're in a time now that we can't do show and tell. We got to make sure that we hold all our elected officials accountable when you get in that office. And I'm telling you, when this group was formed, that is one of the reasons why I formed the group. We will hold you accountable. We are not doing no more show and tell. I want to thank all the panelists that came, all the reps. You guys have been doing an outstanding job. In the coming days, me and Daphne's going to get together. We're going to be doing some stuff and making sure that the right candidate is in office. Again, I want to thank all of you guys for participating. I want to thank Donna, and most of all, that news just sent chills through my body of the arrest. I want to do a shout, but I want to hold it after this. Again, I want to thank all of you guys. All right, Donna.
All right, so I'm going to give the NAACP a moment to have final words with us, and then we will have a complete wrap up. I'm trying to unmute you, Renee. Can you hear me?
Yes,
okay, there you are.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all of the candidates and the state representatives that are in the office now, and those who are going unopposed. We do appreciate all of your work that you're doing in our communities. I heard a lot of the great things that you're doing, feeding in your communities, helping with people getting masks. And also, please remember, the one way that we could stop this virus is to wear our mask when we go out in public. It is the #1 fight against it. And also wash your hands to sanitize as much as we possibly can. Wear the mask and also wash your hands. Vote. Let's get out to the polls and vote. Let's fill those voter applications out, those voter ballots out. We need everybody's voice must count this election. It is a very serious election. And I am also elated about the fact of the arrest of the 2 men that murdered or killed that young man in Brunswick, Georgia. We will be leaving here in the morning, going down to Brunswick. We will still hold our rally there on the court step of Brunswick, because all we want is justice as we fight for one another, for the rights of others. Thank you so much, the NAACP. We appreciate this forum, and just know that we are always in the fight for all of our residents. And we appreciate all the support that you guys give us too. We appreciate your partnering with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for partnering with us. And if this is nothing else but a testament to anyone else that's out there, if you're a citizen, you have a voice, use it. And especially in this day and age, We need every soul to the polls. So thank you all for attending this forum, and thank y'all again, and have a great night.
All right. Bye.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.